हेलो स्टूडेंट्स, इस वीडियो में हम चैप्टर 1 रियल नंबर एक्सरसाइज 1.2 का इंट्रोडक्शन स्टार्ट करेंगे। फर्स्ट वी नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट आर रैशनल नंबर एंड irrational number. So first, rational numbers, the real numbers which can be represented in the form of ratio of two integers p by q, where q is not equal to 0 are called rational numbers. So rational numbers are those numbers which can be represented in the form of p by q. Okay, where p and q are integers and q is not equal to 0, like denominator is not equal to 0. एग्जाम्पल देख लेते हैं फॉर रैशनल नंबर लाइक 2, 3, 5/4 etc. All these numbers are rational numbers because these can be represented in terms of p by q. So, and now irrational number. So what are irrational numbers? Irrational numbers, the real number which cannot be expressed in the ratio of two integer are called irrational number. Examples: root 2 is an irrational number, root 3 irrational number, like, and we can say root of p is a form of irrational number where p is prime, any prime number. So in this slide we have understood what are rational number and irrational number. Rational number are those number which can be represented in terms of p by q, where p and q are integers and q is not equal to 0, and irrational numbers are those number which cannot be represented in the ratio of p by q. Examples are like root 3, root 2, and we can say root p, where p is in any prime. Let's go to next slide. Theorem 1.2. Theorem 1.2. It's let p be a prime number, p be a prime number if p divides a square. If p divide a square, then p also divides a. तो थ्योरम 1.2 को हम याद रखेंगे. if p be a prime number and if p divides a square, then if p divide a square, then p also divides a. Then application, we will apply this theorem in the next few. Theorem 1.3, root 2 is irrational. Proof. Assume root 2 is rational number. As we assume root 2 is a rational number, so we can express root 2 as a ratio of a by b, where a and b have common factor other than 1. We can divide numerator and denominator by common factor and assume A and B as co-prime. So assume A and B as co-prime. Co-prime means they have a common factor 1 only. So root 2 is equal to A by B, cross multiply it, root 2 into B is equal to A, then squaring on both sides, to get 2b square is equal to a square. So we can write b square is equal to a square divided by 2. As b is an integer, it means 2 divides a square, and in theorem 1.2 we understood if p divide a square, then p also divides a. So we can also say 2 also divides a. So 2 also divides a. So we can write a by 2 because 2 divides a. We can write another integer c. So a is equal to 2c. This is assuming this equation 1. This is equation 2. Next continuation, put 2 in 1. So 2b square is equal to a square. 2b square is equal to a square, and a is 2c. A is 2c is equal to 4c square. This implies, so this 2, this 4 cancel, 2 implies b square is equal to 2c square, and we can write as b square by 2 is equal to c square. As c is an integer, it means 2 divides b square. So from theorem 1.2 we can also say 2 also divides b square. So 2 is a common factor of a and b, which is contradiction of a and b as co-prime. So our assumption is wrong. Hence, root 2 is an irrational number. Next is example 5. Prove that root 3 is an irrational number. Solution. Assume root 3 as a rational number. So we can express root 3 as a ratio of a by b, where a and b are co-prime after dividing by common factor. So root 3 is equal to a by b, cross multiply, root 3 into b is equal to a. Now squaring on both sides, 3b square is equal to a square. So b square is equal to a square divided by 3. This implies 3 divides a square. So from theorem 1.23 also divides a. As 3 divides a square, 3 also divides a. So next, so continuation, 3 also divides a. So a by 3 we can write as c. In this we can write a is equal to 3c. Put assume it equation 3 and this is equation 1. Put 2 in 1. The equation 1 was 3b square is equal to a square. 3b square is equal to a square. Put value of a 3c, that is 3c का square is equal to 9c square. b square is equal to this 3, 9 cancel 3, b square is equal to 3c square, implies b square upon 3 is equal to c square. So this implies 3 divides b square, 3 divides b square. So from theorem 1.2 we also say 3 also divides b. So earlier we have seen 3 divides a, and now we have seen 3 also divide b. So we can write, so 3 is a common factor of A and B which contradict that A and B as coprime. So our assumption was wrong. Hence root 3 is irrational number. Next, example 6. Show that 5 minus root 3 is an irrational number. Show that 5 minus root 3 is an irrational number. Solution. Assume 5 minus root 3 as rational number. 5 minus root 3 as rational number. So we can express 5 minus root 3 as the ratio of two numbers A by B, where A and B are coprime. After dividing the common factor, so we assume 5 minus 3 as rational number. Hence, take root 3 on one side, 5 minus, take A by B on this side, A by B is equal to root 3. We can also write root 3 is equal to 5 minus A by B. So 5 is an rational number. A by B, A is an integer, B is an integer. This is also a rational number. So this complete RHS is a rational number. Rational number. Hence this is also a rational number. Five minus A by B. This is integer. This is ratio of two integer. This is complete RHS is a rational number. So root 3 is a rational number from this equation. But we know root 3 is an irrational number. But we know root 3 is an irrational number. So our assumption is wrong. Our assumption is wrong. Hence 5 minus root 3 is an irrational number. Next problem. Example 7. Solution. Show that 3 root 2 is an irrational number. Solution. Assume assume 3 root 2 as rational number. As we assume 3 root 2 as rational number, we can express 3 root 2 as ratio of a by b, where a and b are co-prime after dividing the common factor. We have to prove 3 root 2 is an irrational number. We have assumed 3 root 2 as rational number, so 3 root 2 can be expressed as the ratio of a by b. So take root 2 on one side is equal to a divided by 3b. CRHS. A is an integer, b is an integer, 3 an integer. So RHS is an rational number. A by 3b is rational number. Hence root 2 is also rational number from this equation. Continuation. But we know root 2 is an irrational number. So our assumption is wrong. Hence 3 root 2 is an irrational number. तो स्टूडेंट्स ये तो था एक्सरसाइज 1.2 का इंट्रोडक्शन वीडियो. I hope you like the video. If you have liked the video, please subscribe to this channel.